Welcome to Soapdish. Hi, Luann.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty dang good.
Great, great. I
Yeah.
I have been on a cruise for a few weeks, and I'm back now. And uh, so much has been happening with Young and the Restless and Bold and Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. They must, you, when you go on a cruise, then all of a sudden the Raiders kicked everything into gear while you were
Yeah,
gone.
I know.
On both of them, you're right, though. Yeah.
Yes, I know. I know. It's like so much excitement, and I couldn't watch it live while, each day's episode. So I had to watch and read when I could just to keep updated on everything.
Did you find yourself on the cruise being restless because you were just, wondering what's going on the soaps?
I know each night I would kind of look at the recaps and see what happened today. What did I miss? But
Yeah.
yeah, because it's like you said, during the 2 weeks that I was gone, it was like, oh my gosh, there's been so much happening, and looking forward to soap,
Let's
getting
get
sudsy
into it.
about it.
Yeah, let's get
Yes.
into it. All right, let's start with Young and the Restless.
Okay.
Uh, All right, so Victor has had a secret. I love this, and I didn't have time to dig into it, but I saw a little article on one of the websites I use that uh, they talked about, and I might have to look at this before we podcast again, but there evidently is some history to Victor's holding cell that he has in his basement at the
Mm.
at the
Mm-hmm.
ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Yeah,
remember any of that?
I believe he has utilized that in the past.
It
I
sounds
just,
like it. I don't
yeah, and
remember that.
but I completely forgot about it all. Because what a shock it was to see Jordan,
I know.
because listening to his story, what happened to Jordan,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
the ending scene that day was here's Jordan in a cell, and there's Victor, and it's
I
like
know.
his
I was
own
surprised
little
by that too because I
I know.
I thought when he was telling, we'll get into that in a second, but he
Hmm.
was telling his story about how what happened to her, and
Right.
I was thinking to myself when he's telling it, I'm thinking, I don't think that's how it went, Victor. I bet he had something else up his sleeve.
Yes.
And then next
Yes.
thing you knew, like you said, we see him down in the basement, and he's got Jordan. He's got
Yeah.
Jordan in the holding cell at the
I
ranch.
know.
That was
And
awesome.
I know, and the only thing I still wonder, and I can't remember from past history, does anyone else in the Newman family know that area exists? Or is
I
this
know.
just Victor's little private area that his little man cave that he uses for
Right.
different purposes? So that's what I'm not sure about, if anybody else
Yeah.
knows about it.
I'm not either because that must go back quite a ways because I've watched that
Mm-hmm.
show for a number,
Mm-hmm.
since the 70s. And,
Yeah.
I probably forgot, but I don't recall that he had
Yeah.
that. But anyway, we'll
Right.
see more on that, I'm
Oh,
sure.
yes. Yes.
So Victor's got her in the basement in the holding cell, and he's been
Mhm.
pressing her for Claire's whereabouts.
Right.
And she's playing hardball. She's not giving it
She
up
sure
too
is.
easily.
No,
Yeah,
she isn't. She's very upset that she got outwitted by Victor. She's
right.
really ticked off about that because she thought she could hold the upper hand on this, and it's not going to be too long that she can do that. But she still thinks that she has some control over this if she
Right.
doesn't let him know where Claire is.
Right, exactly. She's still
Yeah,
trying to bargain. She's still
she's still
bargaining with Victor about trying to get out of the country, et cetera. And he kind of
correct.
tells her, should have taken me up on that offer earlier.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Because they're all,
that
yeah,
offer has been
that offer's up.
rescinded.
Yep, it's off the table.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so Victor is spinning the story about how, what was Jordan's demise or what happened to her. And he talks about how when they were trying to apprehend her, when they did this meet,
Hmm.
that she got away and ended up. I can't remember, so I put fell, jump. I couldn't remember if he said she fell or she
I think
jumped.
she fell. I think that's what he
She
said.
fell,
She
yeah, that's
fell.
what I
Yeah.
thought, but I wasn't
Hmm.
100% sure. So this is what he's spinning to everybody, about Jordan and what happened to her. And meanwhile, he's got her in his basement in the
Yeah.
holding
Yeah.
cell.
Yes. And like you said in your notes here too, Michael Baldwin is not buying the
Yeah,
story. He seems very suspicious, and he's voiced his suspicions to his wife Lauren. And
yeah,
even when Victor, when I was watching it and Victor was telling Nikki, Jack, everybody what happened to Jordan, I thought, oh, is this going to be another storyline where, she falls in the water, they think she's dead, and she's not really dead. It's like, are we going to go down that path again? But then, like I said, at the end of that that episode, when they showed Jordan in the cell, that was like, okay, I'm glad the writers took a little different approach instead of, is she dead or isn't she dead? Now we know she's not dead. But, back to Michael Baldwin, he does have his suspicions. And, you know, we'll see if he kind of keeps prodding Victor about it or what, because he is suspicious. The rest seem to be taking Victor at his word.
Yeah. Yeah. And I could see when he was telling Michael Baldwin this story, I could see Michael just kind of going, yeah, something doesn't add up here, Victor.
Yeah. He's a lawyer, so he knows how to lie too. So
yeah, he knows a
can read
liar when he sees one.
Yes, right. You hit it right on the nose.
Hey, do you know what they call, do you know when a lawyer is lying?
No,
When his
I
lips are
don't.
moving.
Okay. Hopefully we don't offend any lawyers.
Hopefully we don't have listeners. Sorry.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of cop jokes, so that's just one to throw back.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All
That's a
right.
good one.
Let's talk about Victoria and Cole. So they ended up going to the hotel where Jordan kind of was last known whereabouts. And they find a key to a storage garage. And I think Victoria says, I think Billy had. She recognized the key from being from a storage facility that Billy had at one time. So they get a hold of Billy, and Billy tells them where it is. So that's where they're thinking. That's where
Yes.
Claire is, right?
So I have to ask for your thoughts on this. Here
Yeah.
the police, I would think the
I
police
know.
or different people have scanned that room so many times. And
I know.
here's Victoria Cole, and they see this doll up in the closet that's just
I know.
sitting there, and and
They
uh,
find that in the
and to
back.
find the key. And it's like, it was like a Nancy Drew mystery. It's like, hey, we found the doll and the key. And I thought, well, this is a soap. We have to save time. So, but I thought that was kind of funny. I thought, oh, I would think they would have, checked out that room several times.
What's kind of funny is that they, they do this a lot where the police have done their whole thing, the whole BCA, the crime scene team, and everybody's been there. They collect its evidence and all that, and then somebody ends up going back. I mean, how many times have we seen that story?
Yeah, I know.
Somebody goes back, and they
Yes.
find something that the police missed.
Right, right. And in this case they did. And yes, and it was to a storage facility, storage garage, like you said, that uh, it was interesting when they got to the storage garage.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So I don't know that I saw that. Do you have details on that?
Well, when they got to the storage garage, they Victoria and Cole were like, because they could see it was dark in there, but it was locked or something, and they were able to
Oh
get
yeah,
it
that's right.
open. And
That's right.
then when they got in there, Claire was there, and she was kind of out of it, a little dirty and hungry, and at first I thought I couldn't tell what was laying on top of her. I thought it was another body or something because it
See,
looked
and I didn't
heavy.
see that.
Yeah, it looked like it was heavy or something. They kind of rolled that off of her, and then they hugged her and brought her back to the Newman Ranch. And Victor was so relieved and happy to see her. And then Claire was describing a little bit what had happened the night at the Abbott house when she had returned that little lucky rabbit back to Harrison. How Jordan
Oh yeah,
had taken her and Harrison. hmm
yeah.
I don't know if there's more details that she will be giving, but that initially that's
That's
the
what she
information.
said.
And then
Okay.
again, even at that time, Victor said Jordan is dead, and so Claire knows, with what Victor has said, that she will believe that Crazy Aunt Jordan is dead.
Okay. Yeah, good. I must have missed that day for some. There, I've
Oh,
been
sure.
kind of in and out like you too. I wasn't on a cruise, Luann, but but I did miss.
You have a
All right,
life.
so let's. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
All right. So Nicki's continuing her battle with alcohol, and today now, yes, it might have started yesterday, and today she's got a room back at the Genoa City Athletic Club hotel, which I've never understood that. I don't understand this facility, but
Yeah.
whatever.
It's a
It's a
local.
soap.
It's a local
I
hangout
know,
for
but with
those
the
who
hotel,
don't.
and a fancy hotel upstairs, and
Yeah,
wow.
who need a home away from home.
Evidently, that's where everybody kind
Yeah.
of goes for their home away
Yeah.
from home, the way it looks.
Yes.
All right, so she came in and she came in there and she takes a bottle out. So she picked up a bottle of vodka. You know what I? This is what I find is a little bit humorous. She's got a pint bottle.
Hmm.
Well, for somebody that's you know drinking as much as she is and whatever, a pint that would last like you know an hour or two maybe.
Yeah. And that would probably just give them a buzz to get started.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh wow, whatever. It's a soap. They're just trying to
Yeah,
do the
yeah,
story.
right. But
So
and in today's episode, Nikki was, yeah, like you said yesterday, today she was drinking that pint, and woe is me. It's like, why can't people just leave
yeah,
me alone? And I just want to be left alone. And she was going to go out, but then she decided having some more. She found another bottle laying on the bed, I guess, and she drank that, and then she went into a bad dream sequence,
yeah.
and just everything was against her in this dream. And then at the end of today's episode, she was coming out of her room, kind of running into things, and then she happened to see Jack, and I'm sure she was like, oh God, I'm busted. So she started going back to her room, and then Jack kind of holds the door up so she couldn't lock him out. So
Yeah, exactly. So what do you
mhm.
think? Where was she heading, do you think, Luann? What was her
I don't know.
thoughts when she left the room? Yeah, she didn't really
I
say, did she?
No, she did say, I think she was just in a drunken stupor, and
Oh,
the dream, I think, had kind of thrown her off a
she
little
probably
bit, and
thought I need to
maybe,
go home or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
right, right.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. And then Jack, like you said, Jack finds her.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, last story we should talk about before Super Sudsy is struggles are continuing with the Winters Chancellor
Hmm.
business with Devon, Billy, Lily, and that kind of continued today. Um,
Yes.
this is I think this storyline actually could get quite interesting.
It could,
What do you think?
and you can see there's sides forming. And, you
Hmm.
got Devon and Abby, and you got Billy and, Chance. And I think he's
Hmm.
hoping he'll stay with him. And then you've got Jill. Well, Billy and Jill, and then Chance. But then you have Nate and Chance that kind of are trying to keep the peace and stay in the middle,
Right.
and try to
Right.
help both sides. And
Yeah.
Devon is feeling like Lily may not, vote with me because she's upset. She took it personally that I knew about Daniel and Heather. I didn't say anything to her. So he said, I don't know if I can count on Lily. And then he's looking at Nate. He's like, can I count on you? And Billy's kind of looking at Abby. It's like, well, this puts you in an awkward position because this is your first vote, and you're doing it with a romantic partner, your romantic partner.
Right.
And so, it'll be interesting to see how Lily moves on this, because Lily's been really, with all this coming down, I mean, Lily is, she's, she's staying very firm and strong on her beliefs that, you did wrong, you're out of here, we don't need it. And I think she's still torn too, like, do we separate it? But she sees the benefits of having one company. And
Right.
Nate has brought up good concerns with, how is this going to look out in the public with us arguing and disagreeing.
I mean, Nate's actually the voice of reason on this, I
Hmm.
thought,
Hmm.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Chance just doesn't have time for it. It's like, I don't have time for all this squabbling.
Right. He's like this infighting and squabbling. He's
Yeah.
like, you know what? We got a business to run. Let's put all our personal differences aside,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Super sudsy question for you. Number one, Luann, is what is up with Claire? Where do you see the Claire situation headed?
This one is still a gray area because I thought she still might be in cahoots with Jordan, or Cole, and maybe she's not, she's just looking to, if Aunt Jordan is dead, it's like good riddance. I can live my life now as a Newman where I should have been. And, where's their place for me in the Newman family? But there's still, I think, something going on with her. I don't know what it is.
I agree with you. And I don't know that it's Claire. I've suspected that as well,
Mm-hmm.
helping Jordan. But I do think somebody, and I'm not saying it was Claire, I think we're going to actually be surprised. I think it's going to be somebody that we're not thinking of. Could be
Right.
Cole, but I don't know that it's Cole either.
Because he
Um,
comes across very sincere and caring,
and he loves
and
his daughter. He seems to be very,
yes, if he's doing a charade, he's doing a really good job of it. And
yeah, I agree.
like you said, it might be someone that we completely don't know about. The writers might be throwing another twist into all this, and somebody from the past again that we don't know.
Right. It could be somebody that she got connected with when she was in
Mm-hmm.
prison, very
Yeah,
possibly that we're going to, I can totally see them bringing up a new character into this that we don't
yeah,
know,
because we
but it's
know
somebody that she was
yeah, because
associated with.
we know Eve isn't around. As far as I know, Eve isn't around
Right.
anymore. She's dead, and
Right.
so maybe some other family member. But I still think it was so creepy when you saw Jordan interacting with Harrison, and she was trying to tell him,
Yeah.
"Your parents don't want you. They don't love you, and
Yeah.
I will take care of you." It was like, that was just how she was with it. If she was like that with Claire,
Brainwash. Yep. Yep.
brainwashing.
Working on the brainwashing.
Yeah, so it was like, oh
Yeah.
God. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, next question for you, Luann. This hit me today when I was writing this
Yeah,
up. What will Victor do with Jordan when this is all said and done?
yeah. I know
You
this
know?
will be interesting because she serves no purpose for him anymore. They found Claire,
Right.
and it's like,
Right.
well, now what do I do with her? And does he send her away? Does he kill her? I don't see him killing her because I don't think he'd want
I
that
don't think you'll
blood
kill
on
her.
his hands. And
Right.
but what do you do with her? She's you know, she's
He'll have
disposable.
some grand plan where he's
Yeah,
shipping her off somewhere in a crate or, it'll
yeah.
be something crazy
Yeah,
like
something like
that.
that. Or,
Yeah.
put her in some car and have it drive into a lake or something. I know, so it still
I
looks
don't
like
think
she
he'll kill
drowned.
her, though.
No, I don't either. But I don't
Although,
know if he
I
would
don't know.
send her away because she could come
I don't think
back.
he'll let her loose either. Yeah.
No, but
Right?
but I don't know what he'll do because he has to keep feeding her and taking
Yeah,
care of her
right.
down there.
Right. Exactly.
Hmm.
All right. Third question. Where's the Ashley? I have to
Oh,
say this up front, Luann. I'm tired of this storyline.
are
And it's
you?
nothing against Eileen Davidson, who's the actress. I think she's done a good job with this
Yeah.
storyline. And I like her as an actress very
Hmm.
much. But I'm sick of this storyline with the alpha, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. I understand the story, but I mean, all right, guys, you've gotten enough mileage out of this now. Let's
Yeah.
wrap it up.
And then all of a sudden there was another personality with this bell, that
Yeah, right,
southern lady, and
right,
and again the voices in her head fighting each other and trying to
right,
say just act normal, and she has her psychiatrist friend from Paris here now, and he is seeing some different things. In today's episode, I mean, she was letting her guard kind of down, and he was seeing some things in her that he knows it's not, it's not the real Ashley. And then Jack happened upon them in the restaurant, and she's like, "Oh, you here, watching me, and try to tell my friend here that I've got this, problem, and I need to see, I need, I have issues." And that psychiatrist, he was kind of, Jack was questioning like her, how they met and where they met, and the Bell person of Ashley's personalities didn't really know the answers to some of those questions, and the psychiatrist would have to correct her. And so she said, "Well, you're just quizzing me. I don't care about this." But I don't know where the story will go, because she's this is like her third personality now,
I know.
and it's
Yeah,
like
I know.
she needs help. It's like, what are you gonna get
That's
her
what I
help?
mean. I mean,
Yeah,
I just
they're
feel like they've
dragging it
got, I
out.
mean, I get the storyline, but you guys have gotten enough mileage out of the story, in my opinion. That I'd be
It's
curious what our listeners, viewers think,
yes,
because
yes.
somebody can throw in a comment because you'll get a question, what you think of the podcast. So respond to that question, as far as Ashley. What, is it gone long enough? Or is it me just being too
Yeah.
hard on the
When will,
writers on this one?
yeah,
But
it's like, when will she go down the deep end? Maybe
well,
that's
exactly. I mean, that's
how,
why. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
something will bring her down eventually. Because I would be very disappointed in this whole storyline, is all of a sudden she's all better. It's like, well, I'm myself now again, and I
Right.
would hope they wouldn't end it like that. That
I
is
don't
just that
think so.
quick. But
Right. Yeah, because it
some.
seems pretty. That would seem pretty unrealistic.
Mhm.
With I mean, that's pretty deep psychological stuff.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden you just snap out of it, right?
Yeah, so hopefully with the psychiatrist being there, her psychiatrist friend, and between Jack and Tracy, someone, they will get together and corner her, and it's like,
Right.
we have to admit you to a hospital and get you
I think
take
what's going to happen
healed.
is I think Jack's going to have her committed.
Yes, because he talked about that. I think
Yep. And I
because
think he's going to do it.
yeah, she's given them no choice. Every time they talk about taking her there, she has some excuse, and then she'll run away
Right.
so that she doesn't have to go. So.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep. All right. Do you have anything else on the Young and Restless you
No,
want to bring up?
I think we covered all the
Okay. Good.
good
The
storylines.
bigger stories, anyway. Yeah.
Yes, like we
Yep.
said, a lot's been happening, and it's good storylines for all the different,
Yeah.
some different characters. Hmm.
I agree. All right. Let's move into Bold and Beautiful, and let's start
Yes.
out with the big storyline. Is
Oh,
that Dr. Finn, the Finster, as I call him, and Deacon, they find Sheila.
yes. So the Deacon wasn't running his mouth off for nothing. Everybody was
Right.
poo-pooing him,
Yep.
and he was like, "No, I have a feeling, because that body in the morgue had 10 toes, and it's not Sheila." And then surprisingly, he had enough.
He checked her feet.
He checked her feet, and surprisingly, he said enough that Finn decided to listen to him and say,
Yep.
"Okay, I'll give you a chance here." And then they met that little a man who was
That homeless guy.
a
That
homeless
homeless
guy,
man. They ran.
the homeless
Yep.
man, that he happened to see some things in, again, another storage shed. And
Yep.
so Deacon and Finn broke into it, and they had a lot of locks that they had to get through. And then they saw this pile under a blanket, pulled it back, and there was all 9 toes. There was Sheila. And
Yep.
you and I have been talking offline about when will she make her first appearance. And I was glad to see it was this week, because you kind of wonder, how long will they wait? How long will they keep that
Right.
storyline going? So I'm
Right.
glad they didn't keep us waiting too long.
Yep. I agree with you.
Hmm.
All
And
right.
it and in today's
Oh,
and in
go ahead.
today's episode, she was they were giving her water, saying nutrients, and then they brought up Sugar's name, and she said Sugar. She's still kind of out of it. She said
Yeah.
Sugar, and then she said something about Steffi House, And they said, no, Steffi is okay. Steffi's alive. And so, that's kind of where that's at. And I think there'll be more because at some point Sheila has to describe to what happened, and then
Right.
it's like, well, what do you all believe, when
Right.
when she tells us the story of her and
Yep.
Sugar.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do a little Luna and RJ and Zende
Oh,
update.
yes. Give me your thoughts on it.
Well, um, RJ is uh, he's he's hurt. Of course
Mm-hmm.
he's hurt with Luna, but he's really pissed at Zende, and he should. I after I thought more about it, I'm thinking, yeah, I guess if I was posed with that situation, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But um, I don't know. I've got some thoughts, and I'll talk more about my thoughts in Super Sudsy questions because I have one related to this for you. What do you
Okay.
think about this
My
this
thoughts,
story?
well, my that part of the, when it all occurred, to me, Zende knew that RJ and Luna really loved each other, even though
Yep.
he had the hots for Luna. Also, Zende had the hots for Luna. It's like he, still when Luna was in his room in his bed, you think he would have some class and say, um, you're with my cousin RJ. It's just I
Yeah, I
can't do
can't do
this to him.
that.
I'd be taking advantage of you because you seem like you're drunk, but you seem like you want me, and
But that's the
I
other reason not to, is the fact that
yes.
if she is under the influence of something, which, evidently he knew that she had been drinking
Mm-hmm.
champagne or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, well, come on. Yeah.
Yeah. And RJ has every right to be angry. And I
Mhm.
think for Luna too, it's like, she keeps giving Zende kind of a free pass, like, oh, and it's not your fault, it's my fault too. And it's like, no, Luna, you were kind of out of it. It's kind of Zende's fault too, looking at the female perspective. It's kind of like,
No, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
I
it's like
agree with that.
Luna. Yeah, you could point your finger at Zende. He should have known better. He took advantage of you in a situation
Yes,
where
I
he might
agree.
have, yeah, and maybe she didn't seem intoxicated, but they got caught up in the moment, or Zende did, and now he's paying the price for it.
But wouldn't you say to yourself, I look at this as Zende and I'd say, wouldn't you stop and say, she's head over heels in love with my cousin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden now she just wants me. I
Yeah.
mean, what?
Yes.
I mean,
Right.
that would
Mm-hmm.
lead me to think, she may have drank, at a minimum, she drank too much, probably.
Correct. Because up to
Um,
that point, she had always been saying to Zende, he would say, hey, you're really beautiful.
I
RJ is
know.
so lucky,
And
blah, blah, blah. And
yeah,
she always would say, I love RJ.
I know.
oh, yeah. So,
Yeah. So why? So you're right. That's where he,
mhm.
he deserves a lot more of the blame for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So now this next storyline I find quite interesting.
I,
So Ivy from the past on the show shows up this week out of the blue, and it was kind of interesting because Liam was standing there telling, I don't know, was it the matron, bartender or somebody that he was meeting somebody there, and I'm like, that's interesting. It seemed like it was going to be kind of a surprise or to us as watchers,
mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden Ivy walks into the elder Gino at the bar, and that's who's meeting with.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, wow. Do you
Yeah.
think, hey, Luann, do you think she made her intentions known?
I think so. With
Was she
planting a
clear
big
enough?
kiss. Yeah, she
Was
planted
she
a big
clear
kiss
enough?
on him. But yes, I think she was, Mark. She let her intentions be known. And Liam
Yeah.
was loving it.
Wow. As a man, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, that's
Oh,
a, yeah,
yeah. Yes,
whatever.
and when they were talking about their past together, and the time she shared and how she was wondering how things could be different if she had stayed in Los Angeles, and Liam said, "Well, you could make that happen now again. And so I think it'll be an interesting love interest for Liam. And in today's episode, Steffi happened to catch them on one of their
Yeah.
kisses. And, you know, and Steffi didn't seem too happy about it. One, it's her
No,
cousin, I guess.
I wanted
And
to get your thoughts on that, but that's what I thought.
yeah.
She looked
And
like,
yeah. Yeah. And a part of me still thinks, even though Steffi loves Finn, I think for every woman, you want to know that other men find you attractive. And I think she liked having Liam kind of like in the background there, just in case I need him. And here's like, what the heck, kind of jealous in
yeah,
a way,
yeah, I
So,
agree.
yeah, but I think, we have talked in the past too about, Liam waffling between Steffi and Hope and that storyline getting old. And, now Steffi's happy with Finn and we'll see how long that lasts. And then Hope, we'll see with Thomas, but, I think Hope is in a good place. I don't think she wants to be back with Liam. So that left
No,
Liam out there, it, you know, very
in the
available
lurch.
in the lurch.
Yeah,
And he was talking with his dad, Dollar Bill, and it's kind of like, what am I going to do? And so I think this will be some good storylines, love interest for Liam.
yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I and Terry Knight, my other co-host, were texting a little bit today, and I made it known to you and Terry that I may have a new favorite actress on this show. It may be shifting from Taylor to Ivy.
Yeah. And I said, you have a thing for brunettes, and you
I
do.
know, and you were right, probably.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Ivy is a
yeah.
very attractive young lady. So,
She's very beautiful.
yes, yes. So
She's
it'll
always
be.
been beautiful, but I thought she was especially this time. But they
Mm-hmm,
really
mm-hmm.
made her up for this too. You know what I mean?
Yes. So
I mean, she was all dolled up.
yes, yes. And I hope they keep her on for a while. And
I,
that's
I,
just
I
not
liked her when she
short-lived.
was on the show before.
Did
And I
you?
like to see Liam have a love interest so he's not running around whining to everybody. Maybe that'll
Oh
help.
gosh. Yes. Yes, maybe that'll keep his mind off of
Keep
whining
him
now.
busy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into Super Sudsy questions on the bowl. Where will the Sheila story go from here now that she is live? I see
Well,
lots of opportunity here.
yes. You tell me your thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to say because I can see multiple things spinning off of this with her being alive. I think it's going to drive a big wedge between Steffi and Finn.
Yes.
I think Steffi's actually going to get. I think they were setting us up today with this Ivy Liam thing because I think Steffi is going to pursue Liam
Mm.
after she goes through some marital problems with Finn, and Liam's going to be surprise, surprise, waffling.
Yes.
Do I go with Ivy or do I
Yeah.
go with Steffi?
Yeah. That I give her a shoulder to cry on and lean on.
Yeah,
That kind of thing. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I
And
can see that. I can see, I don't know. There's other things that are going to spin out of that whole thing. It's going to be interesting.
yeah. And and I think for Sheila, she's going to be looking like, hey, I was the victim here this
Right.
time. And, I hope you could feel for me a little bit. And Deacon will be trying to, persuade others that Sheila is a good person. This happened to her, and she had nothing to do with what happened to Steffi. And but I think for many of the people
It isn't going to matter.
in the story, it won't
Yeah,
matter.
like
It's like
Ridge and that whole crowd.
they still see
Brooke.
Sheila. Yeah, they still see
Yeah, it
the
won't
old
matter.
Sheila. But
I,
it will be interesting how she does it with her son Finn. Maybe he'll see a different
yeah,
side of her.
that's what I was going to say, Luann. I think that'll be the biggest change, one I brought up. And I should have precluded it by saying that I think Finn, this will make Finn, now that he's seen her as a victim here and that she was
Mm-hmm.
that close to death,
Mm-hmm.
that he's going to get much closer to Sheila now, Finn is, and that's what will drive that wedge between he
Yes.
and Steffi, Finn and Steffi.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
And it will be interesting over the next few days as Sheila's feeling better to hear what went down with
yeah,
her and Sugar. Just to understand what's the story behind that, because all we heard weeks ago was that she was telling Deacon she was meeting an old friend, and that was about it. And it sounded like Sugar had just been released from prison not too long ago,
Right.
and so she must have made a connection with Sheila somehow. So I'm looking forward to hearing that, what Sheila has to say about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That will
Mm-hmm.
be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with all that in mind, where will the Ivy and Liam story go from here? You've kind of
Well,
touched on this a little
yeah,
bit already,
and
but
so did you. I think
and so did I. Yeah.
they'll start building a little love interest with each other together, and then I think like you said, the person coming in between there will be Steffi.
Yeah.
Trying to seek out Liam's comfort and a shoulder to lean on, because Finn is wanting to call his mom, and, I
Yeah.
don't like this, and I don't want Sheila in our lives. Finn wants her in our lives, so
Yep. Yep.
that would
Exactly.
be interesting. Hmm.
Okay. So last question for you. Will Thomas be coming back on the show?
Oh, yes. Oh, I think he will. I don't know when, and if he'll be. I know if he'll have a different love interest as he comes back that he met in
Ooh.
Paris. Maybe he has
Wow.
a new love interest too, and that leaves hope. She doesn't have Liam, or she doesn't have Thomas, and it's like,
That's
what happens
sudsy.
to
That would
hope?
be a good. That would be a
Mm-hmm.
good storyline.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a
Because
good one, Luann.
yeah,
I like
because
that.
thanks. When he left for Paris, Hope had said no to him, and he's like,
Yeah.
well,
Can't
I
you see
gave
him
her,
coming back with some gorgeous gal, and then then
yeah,
Hope will be jealous,
yes,
and he might
and
do it just to make her jealous. By the
right,
way,
and I was going to say that same thing. He might be doing that on purpose, but we'll
right?
see if he brings home a little
Yeah,
French hottie,
yeah, yeah. Maybe that would
maybe.
be good.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any other closing thoughts?
Not on the Bold and Beautiful. I can't think of anything else. The
Me
only
either.
the only closing thought I have is, we talked about this because since we watched both Young and the Restless and Bold and Beautiful, it's interesting how in the same week,
Yeah,
Sheila was found in a storage warehouse or garage, as so was Claire from Young and the Restless, found in the storage shed,
yeah,
and so it's just interesting how those storylines are kind of running parallel. you
right.
know
And you were wondering if they were sharing writers
yeah, I believe
or
they each
Terry. I
have
can't
their,
remember which
yeah,
one of you said
I
that.
I believe they each have their own set of writers, but
I know they
you
do,
wonder if they
but you
compare
wonder, don't you?
notes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
and and we are coming up on May sweeps, uh with
Yeah, true.
yeah, so that might be why this is all coming together now, because like I said, the last couple of weeks the storylines are really
That's
good,
true.
and so that might be why
Yep.
also.
Yep. That
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. I forgot
Mm-hmm.
about that. But yes, that's right. That's
Yeah.
May. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, that's all I've got. That's a lot.
It is. We covered a lot.
We did. All right,
Mm-hmm.
Luann, until we dish again, keep it sudsy.
Oh, yes. Until next time.
We're out.